So who in the room has heard of Warren Buffett before? Pretty successful guy, right? CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. He's worth about $66 billion. How about Oprah? Potential presidential candidate. One of the few people in the world that can go by her first name and everyone knows who she is. So what do these two wildly successful people have in common? What they have in common is that they both attribute one of the key factors of their success to one simple thing, and that's reading extensively. Mr. Buffett is known to read up to 500 pages per day while researching investments in companies. He once actually compared reading to the phenomenon of finance and compound interest. The more you read, the more your knowledge builds, the more it builds upon itself. Oprah actually credited reading as her personal path to freedom. She grew up, obviously, in rural Mississippi in poverty, and has now grown to a net worth somewhere in the billions and is potentially running for president. So obviously these are two people, two billionaires that have utilized reading to get to fame, wealth, success, everything. But what can reading offer everyday people like you and I? So obviously one of the main benefits is just essentially infinitely more knowledge. Books offer you the opportunity to learn about all different types of interesting people, places, and things that have happened in history. Reading fiction has actually been proven via studies to improve your emotional intelligence. The internet, for all of the fake news and other crap that's on there, has a treasure trove of good information that you can utilize to create new skills and make yourself more marketable in the job market. For example, if you want to learn how to code software, there's a myriad of options to go on there and take online courses, read articles, and learn how to do something like that. If you're curious about what the Federal Reserve does, you can go on there on their website and read some of the research that they publish for free. We kind of tend to take for granted that this information is at our fingertips, given that it's so, it's just right there whenever you want it. But it really hasn't been available for, if you go back 30 years and if you told someone that information was available, they tell you, that sounds like it's, from another world. So it's just a matter of taking advantage of it. The second advantage of reading more is that almost invariably, well-read people are much more better in conversation. How many times have you been at a social event at work or something like that, and you just feel like you run out of things to talk about with someone? Just so dull, sitting there scrolling through their phone on Twitter, Instagram, swiping right, left, whatever. But if you just ask the simple question to people of, hey, what have you read recently? Is there anything good, anything you'd recommend? You'd be astonished at the response that you receive and the better conversations that you have. And thirdly, there's clear health benefits to reading. Reading consistently stimulates the mind. Has actually been proven to either slow or actually prevent the onset of diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. Take Warren Buffett, for example. The guy's 87 years old. He's chief executive of the fourth largest company in the world, and every time it comes out that he buys Apple, it pops another 2 or 3%. Pretty good case for reading, what we say. So in addition to personal benefits, there's clear benefits to society to a society full of people with high literacy rates. There's been all different kinds of studies linking illiteracy to society's biggest ills like violence, drug use, things like that. And although those are well documented, it doesn't make the stats any less staggering. The American Bar Association published a study that said 85% of individuals that are in the juvenile court system are functionally illiterate. So clearly these children haven't had the pleasure of learning what a book can do to you, or what a book can do for you to help improve your life. Lastly, another benefit to society that I think reading can offer is I think it can truly bridge a lot of divides. And obviously today, in the political climate, there's certainly a lot of divides. So for example, I was at the gym the other week, right on the treadmill. There's a guy to my right. He has Fox News up on the TV. When I'm running, I'm just kind of tunnel vision, so I wasn't even paying attention. But this other guy comes in, changes the TV channel to MSNBC. The first guy goes, hey, I was watching that. Turn that back. And so the guy who changed it to MSNBC goes, I apologize, here you go. He gets on the treadmill. He lasts about 1 minute, gets off the treadmill and just says, I'm sorry, I just cannot do this. I can't stand this. And so the guy who's watching Fox News goes, I feel the exact same way about MSNBC. I just cannot deal with it. And so I was thinking, how could these people possibly ever reconcile, or have an intelligent conversation when you just can't even stand looking at or hearing the other side's point of view? And I think a potential cure for that is people reading more print media as opposed to looking at talking heads screaming at each other. If you go read the opinion section of the New York Times and Wall Street Journal and get the conflicting viewpoints, it's a lot easier to take a sober-minded approach to the other side's point of view when you're just reading it as opposed to watching people scream at each other and try to get your news from that way. I guess lastly, the thing I'd like to make clear is that the type of reading that I'm promoting does not encompass scrolling through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram captions. So you hear a lot about how millennials have difficulty communicating verbally because they use so much electronic communication. And I think there's definitely some merit to that. Even myself, I tend to rely more on email communication as opposed to calling people. But I don't think that that's necessarily an absolute evil. But I think if there's more of a focus for millennials to read and learn how to constructively think and put together ideas, I think that would cure a lot of the ills from that reliance on texting and emails and things like that. So what I'm asking you guys today, what I'm recommending is just pick up a book, and whether it's an hour a day, a book a month, whatever, just sit down and enjoy it, and do the rest of the world a favor and ask someone what they've read recently. Thank you.